Welcome back, Stalkers. Today we finally have some Stalker 2 news. It's not much, but it's from the recent interview or podcast called Not Brought In, and they actually hosted Zakhar Bocharov, the PR manager of GSC Game World, where he talks a bit about the development of the game, so let's get into it. Now, ever since GSC Game World and Microsoft signed for Stalker 2 to be an exclusive game for their platforms, meaning it will come out for PC and Xbox Series X and S, it does seem that the development itself is going smoothly. And the first thing that Zakhar said was that originally they wanted to make Stalker 2 in their original X-Ray engine. And for all of you that played previous Stalker games, you know that X-Ray engine is not the most stable or the most polished one, because it can create a huge variety of issues and bugs which ultimately didn't do any favors for Stalker. But to be honest, the latest game, Call of Pripyat, had maybe the most stable version of that engine, but it still had issues, and it was still, it had issues, but it was the most stable version, because Clear Sky and the Shadow of Chernobyl were crashing like crazy for me all of the time. So what the company did is that they tried multiple engines and decided in the end to go with Unreal Engine, which is amazing for environment and level design. The things you can create there are simply amazing, so we shall see how they do it. Now, there were also some rumors that Stalker 2 will come out on Unreal Engine 5, which is the latest edition of the engine. Now, I know that the company somewhat talked about working on Unreal Engine 4, but keep in mind one thing: because Epic wanted for people to have a smooth transition, developers can actually work on their game in Unreal Engine 4 and just import that into Unreal Engine 5, so it's not really an issue in general. But I do think that GSC Game World and Microsoft would like to utilize the full power of that engine and the latest version of that engine, so it might actually happen that they switch over to the new version of the engine without any issues, and that might actually happen before the game comes out, or maybe after release, but it's more plausible to have the game imported into Unreal Engine 5 before the release itself. Also, great news for the modding community in general. Stalker was always about mods and they fully embraced them, and that's why they're actively implementing mod support. And they're also exploring the possibilities of having mods on Xbox as well. And because it's somewhat a closed environment tied to Microsoft, then implementing that would be great. And a plus now, because Microsoft owns ZeniMax. So Elder Scrolls and Fallout, of course, would benefit from those mods, and actual console users would also benefit from those mods. So I hope Xbox is on that, because that's another edge they can have as a console, a platform, whatever. Also, Bocharov promised that Stalker 2 will be much more stable on release, which is kinda expected due to them switching to a different engine, especially now because they focus more on the actual game, not the engine, so that's amazing. Also, they said they made huge improvements to the A-Life system, which is basically how life around you in the zone works, including NPCs, animals, monsters, etc., and how they behave, so basically AI. With A-Life 2.0, there will be much more random events and animals, and people will be fighting each other more, and because this will be open world, it definitely helps with the immersion itself, because you're gonna be walking somewhere and there are going to be random gunfights, people trying to survive monsters in the forest, whatever. It's going to be obviously better for the immersion itself, and because Stalker is aiming for that always, then it's definitely a huge plus in my opinion. And because the game will have different branches and decisions and endings, I do believe that the replayability value will be a lot higher, which is amazing. Previous Stalker games were semi-open world where you could explore as you wish, but I believe Stalker 2 is really pushing it to a different level, with factions and territories, places we know, so they might actually cover all of the places, or well, most from the previous games. And also, Bocharov mentioned that this is the game you want to buy and replay for the sake of history. Well, we shall see what happens with the game itself. So far, development is going smoothly, no pressing problems or reports from the company, which makes me happy because a lot of games now are just having production issues in general. And honestly, past couple of days I was watching Chernobyl, and it's a great show, and then I jumped back into Stalker again, and the game is still so good. So for everyone who didn't play Stalker before, if this is your first experience with the game, I really do recommend you check out the previous titles. You can play it vanilla, you can play it with mods. If you play vanilla, it's going to give you that original feeling, but at the same time, it has bugs and problems, but with mods you can really shape your experience to be truly amazing, but that's up to you. And thank you for watching. This is everything we have for today. Tell me down below what you think about Stalker 2 in general. I honestly believe that Stalker 2 is gonna be good because now they have bigger funding with Microsoft, they have their support obviously, and they're working in a different engine. So honestly, I believe that this kind of liberated the overall game, so now developers working in GSC can actually focus a lot to create something truly amazing, something that maybe previous X-Ray engine was giving them limitations on, etc, etc. So ultimately this is amazing for the game, and this is amazing for the community in general. Also, if you like the video, smash that like and subscribe button for more, and join our growing community on Twitter and Discord. Also check me out on Odyssey, which is like a YouTube alternative if you wanna check it out. And also I do have a Patreon page if you were looking for an extra way to support the channel. You can do it through the link below. This is LKM signing out, and stay classy everyone. Bye bye.